The topic here is the internet making us stupid? What do you think?
No, it gives a lot of access to a lot of information that once wasn't available. Like I trade options, so the internet has given me a wealth of strategies. Options are very complicated investment tools, and before
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to get access to a lot of the strategies. And with the advent of the internet, you can see how things happen in real time. You can see the charting, you can see the different strategies. So, no, I totally disagree.
All right, Brian or MJ, do you want to say anything to that, or
Yeah, if you don't mind, Brian, if you want to go, please let me know. I'll stop. I like this because it's a respectful civil debate.
that's why I do it this
Max,
way? But Max, just one favor: just mute your mic while somebody else is speaking. That way, there's no feedback. All right, thanks.
no, I appreciate it. I'm so tired of little kids just attacking and assaulting each other. So, Max, it's great you're saying that, brother. But the problem is you're saying I. So it's not based on me and you. You might be doing that. That's wonderful. I do it too. I learned so much stuff from Tony Robbins, and I go outside and apply it with the psyches that I learned from him. But the problem is not the internet's being not based on I. Look at TikTok. Majority of kids and the algorithm. They like the numbness of low conscientious stupid stuff. If it was 1970s, 1960s, boys will not do that. I'm not doing that. That would be shame to me and my family. That has been lost with internet, unfortunately. Go ahead, Brian, if you want to say something.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree, MJ, with what you just said. Absolutely. If this was the 1960s, 1970s, now I grew up in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. We didn't have all this shit because we knew how to interact with people. And now you see these young kids that you come across them and you say, "Hey, how you doing?" They look at you like you are fucking, excuse my language. They look at you like you are from planet X because they don't know how to have a conversation unless it's through text.
Max.
Yeah, I don't think it's really good to generalize like that. Every successive young generation has their own trials and tribulations. That's why they're young. But through the advent of time, they'll be able to gain life experiences and be able to look back and reflect and say, maybe that wasn't such a great time in my life where I wasn't able to absorb a bit more. But it really comes down to, taking accountability and, your family network. I mean, yeah, some people it's easy to kind of use the next generation as a scapegoat, but every generation has their learning curve. And so as you get older, you're going to absorb different ideas and experiences from other people, and you're going to mature and you're going to embrace life. And the internet will give you those options. Yes, there are some people who are lazy and they're not taking responsibility socially, but that's up to them. And MJ, you said well, I don't want to speak for everybody else because I'm not going to be that voice for everybody, but I can say the internet has created a lot of wealthy people from a young age. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, people that dropped out of Harvard who are billionaires, MJ. And, that's the advent because of the foundation that the internet has created. The internet has connected a lot of people. And you got to remember, MJ, we're talking on a direct result because of the internet and technology. So I would say it connects us a lot more than I would say before.
MJ, floor is yours.
Yeah, I understand. I see what he's saying. However, what the Max is, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, you're an empathizer. So what you're saying sounds good. Yes, it's great not to generalize. You have to generalize. If you don't do it, there's no way you could be able to talk about something. You cannot take a notebook in your hand, go around the world to 7 billion people and take an accurate rating in a world that most people lie anyways. Plus, they change their opinions based on day by day, year by year, depending on where you live. So what you do is you sharpen your observational skills and you give a rating based on what you see. And the best thing to do. And what you do is you update yourself constantly because you might be wrong the last time. If I say my world, I might be different, and it is. And as I start reaching higher conscientious, guess what happened? I'm more hated. I'm less able to go outside. I could see myself less desirable, wanting to talk to people. This is what happens in this world. Yes, this has been going on, but we never had this much drop of IQ and common sense ever before in a generation since the humanity.
MJ, make sure you follow me, man. I want you back on my show many more times if you
Exactly.
can.
Dude,
I'm going to do my other channel.
Exactly correct. MJ, absolutely, 100%. What you just said is absolutely correct.
All right, MJ, you heard what I said, man. Follow me, eh?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. This is my backup. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you, brother. And I'll follow you on my. Yeah, I just did. There you go.
All right, thanks, bro. All right, Max,
Yeah,
did you want to add
Sounds good,
anything
bro.
to what MJ was saying, or Max, number 7? No, I think your mic's off right now, but
I think he can't hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there must be a delay. But yeah, I don't know where you're getting your numbers, MJ or Brian, because that statistically, that's not true. You have a higher, greater percentage of wealthy people that are young because of the advent of the internet. And when you're saying generalize, I understand, but you got to be very careful when you generalize. I mean, because you can label and category and misrepresent people by doing that. You know, it's a way to engage on a topic, but at the same time, there's something to be said for the individual. I mean, you obviously are a very opinionated person, MJ, and that's fine. But at the same time, you know, the internet allows us to have a discourse and a conversation and a dialogue.
okay. So before I'll let Brian reply first, and then MJ. But I just want to say to Brian, MJ, Max, everybody else, I appreciate the way you guys are speaking and understanding that this is a debate of pros and cons, and it's not about arguing with each other. So you guys are all level-headed, and I appreciate you all very much. Brian, if you want to say something to what Max just said.
I do. Again, to what Max just said, and again, when I sit here and listen to people's opinions, it's like an asshole. I'm sorry to be blunt, but it's like an asshole. Everybody has one. So you have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. And what I like about this is that we can talk and speak our opinions without saying, no, motherfucker, you're this or that, and
That's why I do it this
say,
way. Every other channel on Hello Talk, they have a conversation, and all of a sudden it starts into a fight, and that's not what it's about. People's opinions are valuable to everybody. I mean, that's what it's about, Let's just
Absolutely.
speak. Let's just talk. We don't have to agree.
Absolutely. And that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem with society, is that one person feels that their opinion is better than somebody else's. And that is the whole breakdown of society. And that is what the internet has done to people. And I know, I have seen it, I have foreseen it, that the internet will become ChatGPT, will become Skynet in the Terminator movies, where it will become smarter than humans, and it will start to eliminate humans.
Well, it already started to eliminate human jobs. We've already discussed that about cashiers and everything else. And
absolutely.
Teachers are next.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. My whole point is that to everyone here, you must use your brain to critically think about something and not rely on what you find on the internet or what you find on YouTube or what you see on your TikTok daily feeds. Think for yourself. Do not let the internet control you and control your thoughts. Think for yourself critically.
Like Max, for example, like Max was saying, Zuckerberg and this and that and all these big name guys that are now millionaires. What about all the waitresses and the cashiers and everybody else that lost their jobs because of computers?
Exactly, Mav.
Hello. I just want to add something to that.
Sure, yeah, jump in 5.
I felt like it's a problem with, I'm not sure, maybe the government, or because technology is improving really faster. The problem is that our social structure is not keeping up with how fast the technology is. Um, it's progressing. Ideally, technology should make our lives much better or much more convenient, so we could focus on, for example, art or something else that gives our lives more meaning. But because the the progress of automation is faster than the regulations, I guess, that government were able to put, they were able establishments weren't able to caught up with the how fast this technology is improving. That's why people are losing jobs. So I guess that's the problem. It's not black and white. It's more of a different. It's a problem of a different fields and different areas. Just because technology is improving really faster.
All right, so Max, I want to ask you a question. If say you were a cashier, and tomorrow a computer overtakes your job, are you still going to praise computers the same way as you feel today? I don't know if it's a delay or what, but try again.
Hello.
Yeah, can hear you.
Yeah, that's a very specific example, but you have to adapt, Marva. Anybody who, I feel bad, but if you see that you're a waitress and you see that the income is limited, then you need to invest your skill sets in education. So if you can't go during the day, you can go at night, you can go online, which is another advantage of the internet, and educate yourself to advance yourself. That's how everybody moves up further in their career or in their life, by investing within themselves. So I don't
But
think it's
everybody
fair to
doesn't
say
have that
it's technology.
opportunity. Everybody does not have that opportunity in life.
Sure you do. You can get a loan, you can go to school. I didn't come from a rich family. I educated myself. I went to school. People have to adapt. If you don't adapt, then you run the risk of the consequences of not trying to plan for your future, Marvo.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm sure Brian and MJ kind of agree with me. But MJ, what do you want to say?
I want to follow up with debate, because I think Max and us, we have a different mind process when it comes to debating. Look, I was disagreeing with Brian what he said. He said, I like living alone. I like living alone now, but I think man and woman are made for each other. And just a simple example, when I disagree with him, he didn't come at me and said, you're generalizing. You're talking about me. I don't like what you're saying. He never did none of those things. He sat there quietly and absorbed what I said. And he might think I'm wrong. That's totally 100%. And the whole point of debate is to be able to take what I said and he said and reach a high conscientious. Now, when you say you're generalizing, you're saying this thing. What you're saying is that I'm not comfortable with what you're saying because your point of view might be wrong, but I don't want to hear it. So instead of going into details about my tone, what I say, how I say it, what I'm talking about, debate a counter argument with what I'm saying to dismiss what I say with logical reasoning, which I don't think you have that done so far. And for internet, it's going to cause more problems than good, because few people use it for the good. If you go, the guy I'm going to use that I like a lot is Tony Robbins. That guy saved me. If you go look at his followers, look how many followers he has right now, 2024. That guy's top of his food chain. Now, you could disagree. You don't have to like the guy. But his track records prove that his results, how much people he helped, presidents, etc. But some girl that bends backwards has got about 500 million viewers. It tells you that internet is going the wrong route, and it's going to only get worse, because weak men create hard times, and unfortunately, weak men we have to get rid of them, because they're going to crash our society at some point, and strong men have to come on top and have to rebuild again.
Max, you want to say something to that?
Flaw in the argument.
I have to say something to that.
Hold on. There's a bit of a flaw in MJ's argument, because if you don't like the internet and you think that people are going to use it for the wrong reason, then why would you even be on Hello Talk? Hello Talk is a byproduct of the internet, and the internet is a byproduct of the military called ARPANET. That was a precursor to the internet, because of the fact that if there was a nuclear fallout, institutions still needed to communicate underground, and that's why they created the ARPANET, and that was what eventually led to the internet. So it's a way of connecting everybody globally.
No, but I think what MJ was talking about was like the TikTok influencer who has 500 million followers or whatever, and all she's doing is bending over backwards, dancing like a clown or whatever. I think that's what he was talking about, not what you were just mentioning there.
I know, but that's not what he said. MJ said
Yes, he
that a
did.
lot of people use it for bad reasons,
Yeah,
and I
like
don't
TikTok.
think so.
Well, MJ, you can speak for yourself, but I'm assuming that's what you
Yeah.
meant for TikTok.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So we're not saying me and you again, see?
I didn't say I
But
said
you're telling me
on
I'm
a larger
using it.
extent.
Right, but you're saying I'm using it, so therefore I'm internet, therefore internet is good. I'm not saying internets are bad or good. What I'm saying to you is most people, especially millennials, are using it for a wrong reason that was made for. And the algorithm was helping that process. That's what I said.
But how is it that you're the harbinger of who's using it for good or bad? I mean, that's a very subjective way to look at it.
He is. Now he is.
We got 3 people here, and 2 of them that are in their 40s, I assume, are on my side with this. So, what do you mean who I am? The same thing I could say about you. I'm not attacking your characteristics. I'm trying to reach what your sense is and what your conscientious is. It has nothing to do with who you are. So, your argument is I have to be president of the United States, therefore my opinion has some weight.
No, I didn't say that. And it's consciousness, MJ. It's not conscientious.
Wait. Hold up. I have to say something here. What MJ said is absolutely 1000% correct.
Which part are you
There
referring
could
to?
be, well, 2 things. One, that to his first point, was that we can sit here and listen to people's opinions, but if you don't like their opinion, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, you're a stupid, I'm not going to sit here and say that, because I don't even want to say grown. I don't even want to say that. As humans, we need to learn to sit here and listen to people's opinions and disagree with them respectfully. And that is what we do. That is what we do as humans. Listen to other people and hear them out. But if you disagree, don't go on the immediate attack. And I love that. And the second part is that, to what MJ said, some skinny little blonde girl can go onto TikTok and shake her ass, and the simp men who think that somehow she will message him back and give him some sort of compliment or say, "Oh yeah, I'll be your girlfriend." Men need to stop being simps. Need to stop simping to that. You need to stop.
Max or MJ, want to go next?
Yeah, so this is what I initially said at the beginning. It's what weak men are feeding into this. Not I, not Brian, not anybody that's in this group. You could see sort of a difference between the mind gap and the guys in their 20s and us. I'm in my early 40s, by the way. So you could see the different mindset. Now, when I sit and talk, I don't talk based on one thing. I sit and think my thought, and I change my own thinking. Now, this has been growing up from me being born below the poverty level. Not poverty, below the poverty level. And if you look at people who make it to the top, I don't have my name out yet. And unfortunately, because the way things work, your opinion is based on how much status you have. That's how it works in the Western world. So especially guys who are in their 20s, they look at you. If you don't have 50 gazillion followers, therefore your opinion means dog shit. Now, if you're someone with high status, if Mr. Beast said the same thing, 10% of what I said, he would get praised for it. So it's not the opinion that we are putting our weight on. What we're putting it on is how many status you have. If you have a lot of status, I don't want to listen to you. You're automatically wrong. Because if someone's making money, regardless of what they do, therefore that means they're good or they're smart. So, but that's not the case, because the stupid people are becoming to the top, the smart are getting shoved to the bottom. And the movie Idiocracy in 2016, even though it was comedy, predicted today. And that movie was very hard for him to push out there. So I'm not saying internet is bad. Internet is beautiful. Yes, it does all those things, but it's less of that and the more of stupid horse shit that's pushing on the top. Now, if this was 1960, where I said to Brian, boys would have said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to bring shame to me and my family. There's no way I'm going to simp online. My family is more important than that. We have lost our morality. Not you and I, generalization and the earlier generations.
Max, do you agree with that?
I don't know. I think there might be some truth to some people relating status to that being having a stronger voice, but I don't think that's always indicative of different people. I think if you know the person has credibility based on what they've been able to do, because people can have status in a variety of ways. It's not always associated with money. I mean, some people, their status is based on how many users they have, but that's not necessarily, I would relate that to their level of influence within like a larger intellectual community. I mean, if you're a doctor and you don't have like 1 million subscribers, but yet you've come up with a procedure that saved lives, I think that's a lot more credible than someone who has, 100 million subscribers. I mean, that's great. They can monetize on that if they want, but for some other people, I don't think that that's going to mean much to them.
Yeah, but the doctors are actually helping people in real life, not on a computer.
Yeah, but we were talking about status, Marva.
Yeah, okay.
And
Can I ask you, are you in your 20s, 30s, 40s?
yeah, I don't usually disclose my age.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying within 10 years, 20s,
You can
30s,
usually
40s.
you can kind of ascertain someone's education level based on how they're engaged in the conversation and how they're discussing the topics with other people.
Well,
I mean,
you
clearly,
can meet a 6-year-old genius. I'm just asking you the age range. Are you in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, or 50s? Or you don't want to
I'm right. It's kind of, well, it's not something that I'm going to reveal.
Okay, that's fine.
20s. It's 20s. Yeah.
Actually, you're wrong, Brian. You're dead 100% wrong, Brian. So, okay, touche.
All right. MJ, did you want to add anything? Or Brian?
Not much, but I think Max is starting to wiggle a little bit to our side. But I'll tell you something, Max. If someone doesn't want to see, and I always say it and I'll say it again, if wisdom falls on deaf ears, silence is golden. And if it wasn't because of this debate, I wouldn't say anything. I worked way too hard on myself to sit there to argue. I'm not referring this to you, so don't take defense to this. I'm saying as general in the society that I live in, I prove myself to be wrong to eyes that doesn't want to be wrong, if that makes any sense. If someone wants to be right and believes 2 + 2 is 14, I'm not going to debate. That's your thing. Great, I'm leaving. When you reach at a level, and conscientious, by the way, is a word. Consciousness is your mindset. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So once you reach that level, you have too much to lose, and that's your credibility. So if you argue with an idiot wants to bring you down. That's why I said I'm surprised this chat is like this, because usually they're insulting me. I'm stupid, or I'm gay, or my wiener is small, or something dumb around that area. It's never getting to the actual debate. But I think you have a wiggle a little bit to our side, and like we said, Brian, and you can see number one, we're sort of in a sort of mindset. Yes, I want to disagree with you because I want to see. I disagree with you, but I want to see how you're going to come back with it. Not about my characteristics, what you're thinking, because I want to reach your level. I actually want to be wrong, but proper debating instead of saying you're wrong, you can't generalize, blah blah blah. So it's the same thing. So I'm not going to get really into it. I just want to touch base a little bit. But any of you guys want to go ahead.
I agree. I want to be proven wrong on my points, but the things that I say to people in my real life, I'm never proven wrong.
Max, if you want to follow up, and then I'm going to go to 6, 7, and 8, as they just have been on for a while. Again, Max, I think you have to mute it and then unmute it again and try again.
Hello, my watch.
1 second, number 8. 1 second.
My coverage.
1 second. Number 5, you want to try again? Okay, I'm going to go to the others. Okay, let's start off with Doris. Hello, Doris. Welcome back. Doris, are you there? Okay, if you can put her down. Amanda, hello, Amanda. I think we overtook the chat here. It's okay, Doris, no problem. Amanda, are you there? Number 6. Are you guys all intimidated now or what? Number 7. Hello. 6. From China, Lix.
Hello.
Number 7, hold on a second. If you can mute your mic,
Marvel
number 7.
Catch.
Yeah, you can call me Mava, is
So,
okay. You can just say Mava.
sorry.
No
Sorry,
problem.
my English not so. It's very bad. So.
Don't worry about it. That's why you're here. Did you read the topic? Is the internet making us stupid or smarter? What do you think?
Yes. I think for most of us, I think maybe sometimes the internet makes us like more stupid, not so intelligent. I'm sorry if I make long sentences. You may correct me.
Don't worry, keep going.
I'm pretty sure
No problem. We understand. Keep going.
Because the internet, how can we say that? Sometimes it makes us convenient to connect to each other, and sometimes it create us for lazy. I'm sorry, I don't know how to express.
It makes us lazy. We understand. It makes us lazy.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying, right, Lix? It makes a human more lazy.
Yes, makes us more lazy, and sometimes it's very stupid. It's very stupid if how to say, like the fans. If you are a fan to someone, sometimes make like crazy. Some suicide and some video games, and if you addict to the computer games, sometimes it seems very crazy.
It's like an addiction, is what you're saying. It's an addiction.
Addiction, okay.
Right? You said addicted or an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like you always want to play video games or something. It's you're addicted to it, right? It's an addiction. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Sometimes it seems more convenient to us to connect to each other, but sometimes we are stay in like a room or very small place. We never go out. If we contact our family or friends, we don't want to walk out the room. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you for your answer. Max, I wanted to ask you because another girl was here about an hour ago or something. I don't think you were here. And she said she felt like very depressed and everything because her real life got overtaken by computers and she can't talk to people anymore because she's so enthralled with computers and going to movies and she just doesn't deal with humans anymore. Has computers kind of disassociated reality from an escape, according to you?
According to me, I think there's some people that have gotten a little bit too obsessive with technology, and that could sometimes happen. But the primary purpose of the internet is to allow accessible information to everybody, and it's been a really level playing field. And I would actually say that it's because of the internet people have felt more inclined to get out and do things. I mean, and how I back that up is global travel has increased dramatically tenfold than it was maybe 20 years ago. And that's a lot because people have access to information. And so Sure, there's going to be a certain percentage of the population that are going to be isolated, but that's something that they're going to have to take responsibility for. But I don't think that's reflective of the vast majority of the people. And it could be in stages. Some people are addicted to Hello Talk and they find that it's becoming too consuming, but it's up to them to balance out their time.
Wait, did you say that the travel industry has risen or what?
Yes, it has globally. I mean, look at how many people are
Since what
traveling.
year?
Traveling has actually exceeded pre-pandemic levels now.
Yeah, but isn't that one of the reasons why? It's because of the whole pandemic problem to begin with?
No, it's actually because people want to get out. They want to travel. They want to interact with people, and the internet has helped facilitate that.
I don't know about that, because when the pandemic was around, how many people said that they got so tired of being at home that they wish they can go back to work?
But that's what I'm saying. Ironically, it's because they were so confined that people wanted to go out. But the internet has allowed people to kind of want to access a lot of areas that they would not have ordinarily been able to realize, because you can see in Google Maps, you can watch YouTube videos of other destinations. So my point is, people want to get out more. They want to interact with people. And sure, you're going to have a certain percentage of the population are going to be isolated, but that's something that they've chosen to do. But I don't think it's fair to say it's because of the internet. I think that's a personal choice that they decided to make. But the vast majority of the people don't. People want to engage. We're social beings. We're not prone to be isolated. If we were, you wouldn't have people traveling. Period.
But people were traveling way before the internet came around.
No, actually, the amount of people traveling is higher now than it's ever been.
Because the population is more now than it's ever been.
No, actually, the population decreasing in certain countries. Japan, in Korea, the population is decreasing. And actually, China is actually, their population.
Untrue.
There you
That
go,
is a
Brian.
lie.
Fill in, Brian.
That is an absolute lie.
The population is growing every day. I don't see it decreasing.
No,
Absolutely.
I was
It
very
is
specific,
increasing.
Brian. I was very specific. I said the population in Japan and South Korea are declining.
We're
And
not
that's
talking.
now.
You said globally.
Yes, you
No.
did.
No,
Max,
you didn't hear me correctly, Brian. I said
No,
population.
you did not.
Yes, I did. Okay, well, if you want to go ahead and.
Okay, hold on, Brian. Okay, Max, finish what you were saying, and then Brian, you say what you want to say. Let him finish his point.
I said there are certain areas in countries where the population is in the decline. And I said specifically, Brian, I'll mention it again. Japan, South Korea, and there are other countries and in those specific countries, the population is declining. But there are, I mean, your argument was saying there's more people globally, but the amount of people that are traveling are increasing because people want to get out, but it wasn't necessarily because of people, the population has been increasing. It's also attributed to the higher income, and travel's gotten cheaper, and it's become cheaper because of the internet, because there's more accessibility, and people are trying to companies are taking advantage of economies of scale.
Absolutely not. You are 100% wrong.
Okay, hold on a second, Max. So mute your mic, and then I'll let Brian speak, and then you can come back. All right, Brian, what do you want to say? What is he wrong about exactly?
Okay, so he just said that travel has become cheaper. That is absolutely 100% incorrect. It has not become cheaper. Since that potato has come into office, it has gotten more expensive. I have been wanting to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico for years. I can't go there without spending at least $500, $600, $700 for a flight or for the gas to get there. Gas here now, and Mav, I know you guys do, Canadian dollars to petrol or to the liter or whatever it is. But gas here now, gas is almost $4 a fucking gallon. Travel has not become more cheaper. It has become more expensive. It has become so expensive that you can't go anywhere. And to the other point, he said that the global population has decreased. No, he did not say that. The global population has not decreased. The population has become triple-fold. There are more people in the world now than there were 50, 60, 70 years ago.
What I don't understand what Max said about travel being cheaper. From what I understand, everything goes up. Nothing has gone down. The price of food, the price of a house, the price of gas. How can travel go down when airplanes, they fly on gas, no?
But the average price of travel has come down.
No, it has not. That's a fucking lie.
From
That is
when?
a fucking lie.
Okay, Brian, you don't need to start using foul language.
Calm down, Brian.
Calm yourself.
Okay, but
we're engaged in a dialogue here.
You stop lying then.
What year are you referring
not lying.
to? Okay, hold on, Max. What year are you referring to that they have gone down since what year?
You can look it up statistically. Everybody down below could look on average the fare price to go to a variety of destinations has decreased. There's the higher frequency of travel. Look at Southwest. You have more because of deregulation. The prices have come down.
Okay, but what year are you comparing it to? What year are you comparing it to?
You can look at it on a gradual scale, on a sliding scale. That's why there are so many larger people traveling globally.
So from even last year, the prices are cheaper this year than they were last year?
To certain destinations, yes, the prices have come down. That's why you have a lot of people traveling more.
Okay, so can I put in my input? I think Max is a little bit partially right.
I'm sorry for using foul language.
No, it's okay, Brian. We don't take offense to it. So flights has increased. You're right. I was one of those guys that was abroad when the pandemic happened in 2020, and I was in Thailand. Okay, and then more people started traveling everywhere else. And when I came back here, and what I saw the before and after what happened, I went to before COVID and after COVID, I was in North America. I went to Mexico. I didn't like it. No offense to you guys. I was in the US. I didn't like it. In 2012, I was in the US, and I did everything to extend my visa. I couldn't. I had to go back home to Canada. Things have changed, and because of first world, because we're so used to do our society, we have a lot of things that third and second world don't. So when COVID happened, a lot of people became depressed. We get upset for little things. People start traveling, trying to chase that itch, that happiness. And this is what's going on to the whole world. I saw the change in Thailand, where it's a place where people don't think things are personal. I went to Myanmar, same thing. I went to Malaysia. I went to Indonesia. Then I went to US, and I went to Mexico. Then I came back home, Canada. The whole world has been depressed because the way COVID has done things to people. And everyone's traveling, trying to find an itch. And I think that's what's going on. Not because they're cheaper, because I want to go somewhere else where I could date easier. The dating in the North America is non-existent. That's just one example. Or me trying to find jobs. Our market value is so low. So the East is going to West, West is going to East. Some people are going for work, some people are going for girls. We're trying to chase what we had before.
Okay, but MJ, if you go today, do you think the prices are going to be cheaper than when you went?
No, because when I went 2017, I went from here to Hong Kong. I paid $700 Canadian. You guys are American, that's about $500. The same flight now is $950. Not a lot, $250 Canadian. That's $150 American for you guys. But yes, it has gone more expensive. I came from Thailand here. I could not find any direct flight. I had a lot of layovers. I was in the US for 19 hours. When I went to Asia, I could find direct flights a lot cheaper. Finding direct flights continent to continent, good luck. Almost impossible now.
Max, what kind of places, besides the States, are cheaper that you know of?
Well, I'm not a travel agent, but if you look on various sources on the internet, if you do the appropriate planning, you can find a good enough fare where it's cheaper, but you have to do the appropriate planning like anything.
But so if somebody wants to go, say, back home to China, do you think that they can get it cheaper than they would have been able to, say, 2 years ago?
It's possible. you just have to, it depends on the criterion which you're putting in. I mean, there's so many variables, but it can be cheaper. But I mean, it's sometimes it varies because you have currency fluctuations, you have fares that go up and down, rising and falling, but you can find cheaper prices than it was before because certain areas, because of the higher frequency of travel, the planes take economies of scale, so they're able to book higher frequency flights over there, and so the price is going to come down as they try to fill up their airlines more. And because of that, they want to book their planes, and that's why you have people that get upset because the planes get overbooked. It's like hotels. Sometimes people go to hotels because they think they get a good rate. They go there and they find out the room is not available because they've overbooked, but because they've been able to bring down the price, the demand has gone up, but the offshoot of the demand is that sometimes they overbook.
All right. All I can speak for is Italy and China have definitely not gone down in price. Brian, you were saying what? New Mexico? Have you checked anywhere else? Or MJ,
Sorry, one quick note. Yes, if I get kicked off, I'll come back. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. Brian, you tried New Mexico. You said it wasn't cheaper. Where else? Did you check anywhere else?
Oh, of course. I've tried to go to Vegas. I've even tried to take a train to New York, which is only 3 hours away from me in Pennsylvania. It's way more expensive. Absolutely. And it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that people say that stuff is cheaper today than it was. No, it is not. It is not. And if you were sitting there saying that the same amount of groceries that you got for $100 4 years ago now cost
at least triple. At least
exactly.
But it's the same thing for gas and taxes on airplanes. Taxes is where they make the most money, on the planes and on the actual gas.
Absolutely.
When you go to a gas station, it shows you right on the screen. It's about, 60 or 70% is tax.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing for an airplane. Airplane flies on gas, right? I mean, it's all taxes. Look how much taxes you pay on a flight. If you actually break it down, the actual cost of a flight is maybe 10% of the actual price of the total ticket.
Exactly.
The rest of it is gas. So, Max, when you say the prices have come down, no matter where you're flying, you're using gas. You have to pay the tax. The tax is going to kill you no matter where you go. No?
That's absolutely correct.
Actually, the price of gas has come down than it was about, I would say,
don't let Max sit here and lie to you. The price of gas has not come down.
I really need you to stop attacking me like that.
No, because you were in California.
No.
And you were sitting here and you were liberal.
Dismissive.
You are liberal.
Hold on, Brian, hold on.
And I have not called you a liar, Brian. So please, can you stop?
Brian, wait,
stop attacking me because I haven't attacked you, Brian. So please be courteous. Okay,
Max, go ahead. Brian, just wait your turn. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And you know what? I'm really getting tired of Brian using this foul language and attacking me. I'm trying to engage in a very civil discussion. I've not made any of these personal attacks on you, Brian. I'm just trying to engage.
He's muted now. I'm trying to keep this civil as best as I can, but I can only control you guys so much.
Well, I'm going to voice my opinion by saying I don't like being attacked like that, and I really don't like listening to that foul language.
That's why I asked you about the taxes and everything. I didn't use any foul language.
I'm telling you, the price of gas. That's why Biden released the fuel reserves to bring down the price of gas and fuel, and it did go down. It's not as low as it would have been before, but it has come down. If it weren't, then you would see even higher prices on food. But I didn't talk about food. And yes, there are higher prices on fuel, but they're trying to mitigate that. There's a delayed effect in the economy when you try to mitigate that with monetary policy, okay? Things don't happen within a second.
Okay, hold on. Let me just stop you guys for a second. We're not going to get into Democrats, Republicans, and all that garbage on this channel.
No. But it's related to the price of fuel.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you guys because this is going to end an argument for sure between, Democrats,
I'm not, but
Republicans.
it's germane to the topic, though.
I understand.
Marva.
I'm not even American. I'm just saying I don't want it
I
to
know,
go
but
that way because it's going to end
and
another
I'm not
argument.
trying to have it go that way. I'm just saying it's germane to the topic.
Okay.
If you want fuel prices to come down, there has to be reserves, fuel with the reserves that get released into the economy, and that's what happened.
Okay.
And that's what started to stabilize fuel prices.
Okay, Brian, when you come back on, don't go that route because we'll never win an argument this way. You know what I mean? We're always going to have a big fight about it. I don't want it to become that.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
You have your
I
opinion.
agree.
You can say you don't agree with Max or whatever, but don't say he's a liar or something or because of
No,
Biden.
I didn't say that.
All right,
didn't
but
say
don't
that.
swear at the guy either. Let's try to keep it level.
I didn't
it's
swear.
A debate.
I did not swear.
No, I think
did
one
not
time you
use
did.
foul
It's okay.
language.
Let's just go back. Let's calm it down and let's just have a debate. Okay. I agree with you, Brian. I said I don't believe that the flights have gone down, but we're not going to freak out about it because we know what we feel and that's our opinion, right?
Correct. But the price of gas has not come down. It is triple now.
It's the same here in Canada.
It is triple. It is. It is. And so when I spend $20, $30 to fill up my tank, when a certain other person left office, it was $1.67. Now it's $4. So, and I just filled up my tank today. So the price is $4.
Okay, Max.
Now,
I think Brian was saying where you're from. I didn't check. It doesn't matter. I know you're in the States. That's all that matters. Are you telling me that the price of gas is cheaper now than it was, let's say, 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were saying? Or did I hear you wrong?
That's not what I was saying, Marva.
Okay.
So I live in California. We pay a higher cost of fuel than in other states because during the summer months, like now, they add an additive to the fuel so that environmentally it's less damaging into the environment. It's still damaging, but the gas price for fuel about last year was almost as high as $8 at a certain point, $6, and that's when it was outrageous. And now it's stabilized more where it's about $4.99 for unleaded gas. So it has come down. In different states, you're going to have different fluctuations with prices because some states don't add that added fuel. There's processing plants where the costs are a little bit lower. So I can't speak for every state, but I know for my state, the fuel prices have come down, not as cheap as it was before, but it was definitely cheaper than about a year ago when the prices had gotten high to like I said, almost 6. It was almost creeping up on 8 in certain places in San Francisco.
Okay, so hold on. You guys go by gallon in the States?
Yes, we do.
So what was the highest you had?
About $8.
Okay, Brian, what was the highest you ever had there? And what is it now?
$8. So
$8. Holy shit! Where are you from?
No. I was just I was commenting on somebody from California who had an $8 a gallon gas rate. So the highest we ever got was $4.25.
And now?
That's how much we pay, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
And now?
And now it's $3.75.
Okay.
So it's come down 50 cents.
Okay, JX, where are you from, man? Welcome, by the way.
I'm from Chicago, so mine's about $4 or $5.
4 to 5. Okay, so since you just joined us, I don't know, how long have you been listening for?
Where he talked about gas prices. That's about it. So,
okay, so I want to ask you, do you believe that the price of a plane ticket or a traveling has gone down recently?
I haven't really checked. I haven't checked. No, because I think a ticket to China was like $2,000 or something like that. So, and then you have to factor in hotels. I think because there's, I don't know. But things have gotten pricier. It is more expensive to travel, though. I know for a fact. Because I know I've checked like the plane tickets to China, it's like fucking $2,000 per person. So, yeah, I guess it is more expensive to travel.
All right. So again, Max, I think I asked you before. I don't know. I don't remember the answer. Do you know where the prices have gone down? Where in the world the prices have gone down to travel
Yeah,
to?
Marva, I think we need to frame the question more appropriately. Jax, if you were to comparatively speak, traveling is a lot more affordable than it was maybe 10 years ago. You have so many people traveling because they can find deals. Granted, you have to put some work into it, but there are more affordable fares now than there were maybe 10 years ago. Average price of traveling has actually come down, just like I was saying, with gas and fuel. Yes, it was at one time expensive at like $8, as I mentioned, but fuel prices have come down. Like I'm in California, and a price for a gallon of gas is about $5 now, and they're not as high as $8. So it's important to kind of frame the question in a way that people will understand. And so I'm saying the affordability index for traveling, and I know JX and that he went to China and it's more expensive. I mean, you can find examples where things are going to be expensive, but you got to remember, I mean, there's so many variables. I mean, if you're flying overnight, it's going to be extremely expensive. But if you have enough time and you have various search engines that are looking for a good deal, you can probably find a good fare. But then, of course, there's going to be various variables depending on the seasonality, when you're going to go, if there's interconnecting flights, so on and so forth.
But Max, isn't that like saying, if you live in Thailand, but you came from America and you got $1 million, you can buy yourself a mansion over there, right? With not $1 million, $100,000. You can buy a mansion over there. What can you get for $100,000 in America? A cardboard box, maybe?
Nothing.
Right? So even the
can't
price
get
of
nothing with
travel, with the
That's
price
not,
of
well, it
inflation.
depends.
What do you
But
mean?
it depends, Marva. I mean, you could go to Appalachia and you can get a vast tract. You could probably get almost about, for 100,000, you can probably get about 60 acres. You can't get that in California, but you can get that in certain the back mountains of Appalachia. So it depends.
Are you
There's
talking
no
about a shack
one
or
silver
what?
bullet answer. It depends on. There's a bunch of variables, Marva.
Yeah, but even the price of everything has gone up. Where can you find anything that's gone down? I'm not saying you're a liar or something. I can't figure out how on earth a price of any ticket to fly anywhere is cheaper than it was years ago
Okay,
with the
let me
price
tell
of
you this.
inflation.
Okay, a plane ticket to Hawaii, if you do it about 3 months in advance on certain, is cheaper than almost taking a flight from maybe San Francisco to New York. Because a flight to Hawaii, if you do it within a down season, you could get a round trip ticket for about $290 on Southwest Airlines.
But Brian,
Can I
you
follow up
said
with
when
something
you
with Max? Sorry, good.
hold on, yeah, MJ, I'm gonna get to you 1 second. Let me just ask Brian. When you wanted to go to New Mexico, how much was the ticket, and when was this?
So this was 4 days ago, and the ticket to fly from Baltimore, which is BWI, to New Mexico to Albuquerque was over $500, and that didn't include the rental car. That didn't include the hotel or anything.
That's just
that
a
I
flight,
had
right?
to do.
Just a flight.
Just the flight, exactly.
Okay. JX or oh, sorry, MJ, you wanted to say something, right? I'll get to you right next, number 6. And JX, you're next. MJ first.
Yeah, I think I understand what's going on with Max. He's talking about either US or North America. We're talking about as a global level, and I'm saying from experience, I checked the flights right now. The cheapest I could find is $1,600 if I'm lucky, back and forth, maybe $1,000 Canadian. So take about 20% off that. So that's about $800, $900 American.
To go where?
To Hong Kong from here. And I did that in 2017. The same deal, I got about $600 American. So as a global level, continental-wise, yes. Maybe within U.S. because U.S. doesn't have to deal with international laws.
Okay, JX, you wanted to say something next?
Yeah, I was just wanted to say I don't know this. I'm sort of inclined to believe to believe Max because I'm trained in statistics. So there's a lot of variables to this. But I'm just saying that, COVID just fucked up economics. As trained economists, they go by theory, but essentially COVID just fucked up everything. And nothing really makes sense. So yeah, it does seem to be, you know, it does seem to be pricier to travel. I have to admit, things, renting a car is expensive. We're not just talking about the plane ticket. We're talking about maybe gas prices. I'm talking specifically in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in America, things have definitely gone up. Hotel prices, plane tickets, rental cars. But if you were to rent a car in China, it may be cheaper than if you were to rent a car in America. But there are other things at play here. So there, as I said, there are a lot of variables to this. But essentially, everything doesn't, like, to me, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know why. I mean, everything should be back to normal. COVID is already over. But somehow people aren't trapped because there may be a change in demand and something to do with behavioral economics. I'm not sure. But essentially, all I wanted to say is just COVID just fucked up economics. So,
all right, JX and all the listeners down at the bottom, if you want to follow me, do so, and I will send you a notification when we go live again. I'm going to try to do this nightly. So, yeah, just follow me and I'll send you a notification.
So why can that guy say fuck, but I can?
Huh? What do you say?
Why can that guy use foul language, but I can't?
No.
Oh,
he
wasn't
wasn't.
supposed
He
to. Oh,
wasn't.
sorry, I
No,
was
no.
supposed to.
I think because he
That's
wasn't
over.
intending it to somebody. I think you were just pissed off, and Max took it like you were swearing at him or something. That's why. But let's just try to
But I
reduce.
wasn't swearing at anybody.
I know that, but somebody understood it as you were swearing at him. You guys can swear at a minimal level, okay? I don't want it to be like a F fest in here. You know what I mean? It's not cool to just F this and F that. So once in a while, it's okay to drop the F-bomb, but let's keep it as civil as we can, that's all. Because if you start swearing, people are going to think like you're attacking them, and they're going to get offended, and it's going to turn into a shit show. So let's just try to keep it level. That's all I'm saying. You see, Max said you kept calling him a liar. That's, I guess, what really pissed him off more than you swearing.
I didn't actually call anybody a liar. I just simply said
I'm saying what he said there at the
lie.
bottom. And I'm just reading what he said at the bottom.
Yeah, I was just saying that's a lie because, as we all know and we all see, that CNN doesn't tell us to believe, again, and also the internet doesn't control our brains. We can see, hear with our own minds that prices have gone up for everything.
So Max, translation, it just doesn't believe you, okay?
Yeah, well, there's a way you can say it, but that's not. Marva, Brian just said his flight from where he just said was $400, and I said a flight from Hawaii round trip with enough time on Southwest is about $280 round trip. So that's less than his trip.
Yes, but
And
that's a
to
different
add into
location.
MJ, that was
Maybe it's a different special deal or something because he's talking about a different location.
that's what I'm saying. But the point was there are cheaper fares. It's not very simple because you have different variables that you have to take into account. You have to take in seasonality. You have to take into effect demand, fuel prices, promotions. I mean, we're living in inflationary times. Granted that, but there are certain things that have been mitigated, such as the cost of fuel. Fuel costs have come down to a certain extent with gas prices. That's why they're trying to work on it. But there's a delayed effect when you implement certain policies. There's a delayed effect for it to hit the general populace and there's a distribution chain, and it has to slowly take effect, but gradually it does come down. In fact, the Federal Reserve has just said that they're going to try to lower the interest rate to combat inflation.
Wait, you must be trained in economics because only people in economics trained in economics know that the delayed effect.
Well, I trade stock options, JX.
Oh, well, okay, similar. You have to know economics. Okay, So I was like, oh wow, you must be trading
Well,
economics.
it's tied to the economy, right? I mean, you can see it.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't. There is a delayed effect, but we're talking about gas prices and plane tickets. Everything from real estate taxes, they have gone up. It's just I don't know how it's going to die down. I honestly don't, because technically when you were talking about real estate here, when they cut interest rates, there should be when there's an increase in interest rates, it's more expensive to borrow money. When it's more expensive to borrow, banks raise their mortgage rates, whatever. But they're supposed to be theoretically, um, uh, when there's a high mortgage, like when a high interest rate, there should be lower demand. But that wasn't the case. As I said, COVID screwed up economics. And so now, what happens if they cut the interest rates further? Then I predict the next 5 years or next 5 to 10 years, interest rates are going to go down. And when they go down, there's just going to be higher demand. And that's just going to increase the real estate prices even further. So I don't see a way for this to die down, unless you do.
But Jax, you have to also take into consideration there's supply and demand issues. Developers are not making enough housing stock for single family homes. They're trying to maximize their profits, so they're building more expensive homes, but that's putting it outside of the price of your average American. So therefore, even though the interest rates are coming down and taking on a mortgage is cheaper, how can you afford a $1.5 million house in San Francisco or San Jose where the demand is so high and the quantity of supply is limited? So that also is another factor that you have to take into consideration for the housing stock and why demand is still high, but people can't afford to buy that even though interest rates have come down.
So what? Yeah, agreed. But so there's also, I agree. There's a supply and demand factor into this, of course. How did I forget that? But there's also that delayed effect where if they do construct new homes, right? It takes time to construct new homes, and they're not exactly adding multiple buildings at one time. I mean, they are adding multiple buildings at one time, but it's not enough to lower the demand for the supply and demand curve drastically. So this is what I hate the most, is that we don't know how long this inflation or the appreciation of real estate is going to last because of this so-called delayed effect.
Okay,
Right.
let me
And
just
there's
interrupt.
also
Let me just
limitation.
interrupt you guys 1 second. We're gonna go on for about 10 or 15 more minutes. If the people in the chat want to come up, now's the time, because as I said, 10, 15 more minutes, and then we're gonna end this stream. So if you guys want to come up, come on up now and say what you want to say. You guys can continue in the meantime.
Yeah, join us. But JX, but also there's also another issue too. I mean, there's multiple layers with real estate. I mean, that's why it's a complex issue. Because if you have a limited amount of land, like say for example San Francisco or Manhattan, there's only so much you can't build out wide. You can only build up straight up. But then developers are they're going to want an ROI, return on their investment, right? So they're going to build for where they can maximize their profits, and that's going to be catering to a very rich upper class, and that's not catering towards the middle class or people. That's why there's a housing crisis. Developers it's not meeting the marketplace. There's no equilibrium. The equilibrium is a much higher rate where they want to maximize their profits. So even though interest rates are lower, developers are not going to supply that quantity in a limited amount of land because they're trying to maximize their profits on a limited amount of land. Now, if you go somewhere like in Texas where they have more land, the housing costs are a lot cheaper, but then you have to realize, yes, you can afford to buy a home, but you got to realize the tax on the back end is going to be higher. A lot of people don't know the taxes in Texas for housing are the tax you pay on your house in Texas is much higher than you would in California.
Yes, but there's just like too many variables. Like it's like building. I don't know if you know anything about statistics, but it's like building a statistical model. There's just too many. You're trying to increase R squared, but there's just too many. You're trying to increase the accuracy of the model, but there's just too many variables. Like that's why we have something called the error term to factor in those unknown variables.
Right.
But it's just impossible. I mean, we can talk about we can also say, why aren't people just simply moving out? Moving out of the state and things of that sort. Go to maybe Wyoming, Colorado, whatever the case may be. But the thing is, then there's also jobs. Most jobs are in the Democratic states. Like all the big tech companies are in the Democratic state. They're not expanding out, to any other state. So
a lot of people. There was an exodus from California to Texas and to Arizona and to Florida because they had more tax incentives for businesses because California became a very unfriendly state to businesses. And so that's why Elon Musk, he left California, went to Austin, and that's where they're producing the Cybertrucks. And then you had there was a pretty major mass exodus of people. There was a higher level of exodus of people from California and in-migration towards Texas, Florida, and Arizona.
Yeah, but that just, and we can just go further with this. I mean, because now you have an influx of people moving to these states. Now there's more demand for housing and stuff like that. Now when there's more demand for housing, typically the sale prices of a home or the rents they're going to increase. So and when you increase and when the sale price of a home increase, your assessment for property taxes, that technically it's going to go up. So, I mean, there's just so much in play right now. So I don't know how to solve this whole thing. I want everything to die down. As it's going to die down. I hope, I'm for sure it's going to die down. It's just a matter of when, and we don't know that.
I think California is following Canada's footstep, unfortunately.
I don't know. Chicago, Illinois is becoming sort of like California. It's just everything is expensive. We got a lot of homelessness now, and I don't want it to become like California, but if they can't reverse it, then
number one knows what I'm talking about. The housing prices, he knows. Like it's $2 million for something that looks like $250,000.
It's a joke.
Yes.
Look at downtown Toronto. A condo. It's a little box. It's over $1 million.
Right.
Easy.
Nothing makes sense.
Lived there. It's nice. Yonge Street, the CN Tower, really nice.
Yeah, but it's unaffordable. You cannot afford it.
That's all we have. But what I'm saying, the West is getting worse, so that's why a lot of people move. And I was going to touch base something. Not everybody was going to move. I mean, America's, I'm not saying you guys only, been talking about wanting to move to Canada forever. But I don't see many Americans here from my own observational effect. We humans are naturally seek towards comfort. And when we move to somewhere, regardless of where it is, it's like an old say, the dog is lying on a nail, keeps barking, but the dog doesn't move. They ask why the dog doesn't move. You say, well, the nail is not poking him hard enough. So humans would tend to be comfortable where we are. Now, what are you going to do with your kids, your family, your friends? And we don't like that kind of a new environment again. Yeah, some people do move, but generally we like the comfort zone where we are, and we get comfortable too fast, too quick. And I'm speaking from personal experience that when I moved around, even though I didn't like the place, I'm like, I want to extend my visa one more year. It just got comfortable too quick, too easy.
MJ, can I ask you where you're from originally?
Yeah, originally I'm from the Middle East. I'm from Iran.
So you need a visa to come to Canada from Iran?
No, man, I'm a citizen now. I came here when I was 13 years old. That's why I could speak English like this.
No, but I mean originally you needed a visa to come to Canada?
No, because my dad came here as a refugee, and then we came here after 4 years, and we got granted of a PR, which is the green card of U.S.
Yeah, okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate your answer. You didn't have to tell me,
No, it's okay. There's nothing, no secret. I don't really care. What is that going to do, right?
Yeah, I know, but you know how some people can get, right?
No, and I was going to, you know what, you brought a good point. I'm going to tell something to Max. You don't have to take it, man, but I'll just tell you, don't take what people say to you personally, like, oh, he called me a liar. There was 2-3 guys here. They were just trashing me non-stop. I just did this. This is all they did.
No,
and eventually they're going to get exhausted.
But there's levels of civility, MJ. As you mentioned, we're here to engage in a dialogue, but he doesn't have to get really.
I understand, but in the real language, I get it, Max. What I'm saying to you, in the real world, exercise is very difficult. I agree with you, but exercise with this, and I actually have no beef with Brian. What I'm saying to you is exercise in the real world. He's actually pretty level-headed. You're gonna get some people, especially millennials, don't want to be wrong. You're stupid, and they're gonna have this thing, and you'll see if you stay quiet because they don't want to be proven wrong. What they want to do is they want to talk over talking, and if you stay quiet, they'll just embarrass themselves. That's just advice. You don't have to take it.
No, MJ, I mean, I'm fine with being able to ignore that, but I'm going to articulate my situation and mention that to him because, you know, we were having a very civil discussion and that was the whole point of it. But you don't have to get it and bring it down to that level. And I merely mentioned that to him.
Right, but
So
there's
I
gonna
have
be
the
back
right
and forth
to.
there.
So
It's
that was
gonna
my
heat up.
right. You know what I mean? I mean, I can perfectly deal with that, but it's just one adult saying to another one, "Hey, tone it down a little bit."
Right. But what I'm saying to you is a lot of cases going to heat it up. Brian is okay example, but I said you're going to get millennials who constantly got into this mentality of being argumentative. I believe 2 + 2 is 14, and you say, "Hey man, level it down." Oh yeah, and it just kind of increases it, and they don't want to be proven wrong. What I'm saying to you, you just leave it at that point, and eventually they're going to tire themselves out. It's like a boxer who doesn't know how to fight.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but
this
again,
is
we
the
just have
problem
different
why I
ways of
create
dealing with the situation. That's
this.
all.
This is the problem.
No worries.
This is the problem with creating a topic. You don't know how it's going to turn all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like something so simple as, you know, is the internet making us stupid? I didn't think was going to turn into a big argument. But I got to be so
Well-
careful too because I'm the one running the channel, and I don't want anybody to think,
Of course,
you know,
you
I'm
can
the
get banned.
douchebag who's letting people just run their mouth off. It's hard to control
Exactly.
people, right? I can't speak for other people, but I can only control them as much as I can on here. That's all I can do.
Well, you know, even though everybody has the right to say what they want to say, but you have to abound by the social etiquette that's been established by Hello Talk. There's codes of conduct that and if you don't and you violate them, then you're going to be held responsible. And I wouldn't want someone to complain about you, Mom, but because you're hosting this voice room, but you could be held liable if you allow someone to continue to go on that rant and someone's expressed, hey, I don't appreciate that comment. And I wouldn't do that, but there are other people that would. And then Hello Talk would say, you know, Mom, we're going to have to ban your account. And then you'd have to protest to the engineers to say, hey, that wasn't me. This is what happened. This is what transpired. So I'm just being respectful of the room, but articulating my situation. So that's why I did what I did, MJ.
But that's why I tried to stop him quick because he was just about to fly off the rails. And I had to tell him, just relax, man, or I'm going to get in trouble.
Exactly.
Not you. Right,
so he needed to bring it down. He needed to tone it down.
The algorithm here doesn't do anything unless individuals report you. You can say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, but you still have to abide by the code of conduct, MJ.
Not only that,
MJ,
but you can't talk about certain things either, no matter.
But if you don't do that, then you're going to be subject to being banned.
It's their platform.
I'm telling you what works in the real world. I understand. Again, Brian is a pretty level-headed guy, and he listened. He did apologize. You're gonna get people that won't, and then I met them on here.
I've met them too, MJ.
Yeah. So you're gonna say, "Beyond, why did you say to me?" That's what I mean.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it like that, MJ.
No, not you. I'm saying you're gonna get that back, return to you.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, we're still here. We're still having a good dialogue. So, and he's gone.
No, I want Brian back. Actually, he's not. I don't have no problems with the guy.
His time ran out. His time ran out. I think you only get like an hour and 15 minutes or something if you're not VIP. So that's the reason why he didn't just like bolt because he was pissed or something. He just got.
And see, this is why it's a good room because we could have differing viewpoints, but you don't have to sink to that level where you just have to get it where it starts to get a little uncomfortable. Is what my point was, MJ.
No, I get you. Since I've been here, I don't like number one's hat. I didn't tell him. Now I'm telling him.
Yeah, well, how about I ban your ass for that comment, huh?
Oh my God!
You don't like my hat? What are you, a Leaf fan? Enough said.
Well,
why don't you go back to lunch?
What do you expect?
Hey, we got to the finals, bro. So bite me. All right.
Yeah, the time is ending, so.
Just telling you.
Yeah, I told you what I don't like.
Anyway, this has been a good room. Thanks for having me, Marva, MJ, and JX.
Like I said, Max, follow me, all right? And I'll send you the notification when I go live again, man. You're always welcome.
What's the next chat? Have a good night, everybody.